Welcome to Skeptics to Seekers, Exploring the Edges of Wellness, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of holistic health and self-discovery. Join your hosts, Leandra Jackson and Heather Bergen, as we guide you on a journey to uncover the secrets of wellness. Each episode will challenge the conventional wisdom, explore innovative practices, and empower you to take charge of your well-being. Get ready to transform your skepticism into curiosity and your curiosity into a path to wellness. Let's embark on this journey together.
We have an amazing guest today, Mindy Reichert with Relationships Unlocked, and I'm Leandra Jackson.
Heather Bergen.
So thank you for joining us today.
Yes, welcome, Mindy.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
I just wanted to introduce Mindy Reichert. She helps couples and individuals navigate the complexities of communication and relationships, whether it's with yourself or someone else. Her business is Relationships Unlocked, and she's a master relationship coach.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about love beyond romance. And our theme is love as a multidimensional practice, emotional, physical, relational, and self-directed. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we are always thinking about love as a romantic aspect of life. It's so many more different things. We want to also ask the question, is emotional health actually measurable in the body? So that is our skeptic hookup today, because a lot of people might not think that that's possible. And we're going to go through some of that. So we want to be able to explore heart health, boundaries, grief release, and embodied practices.
Yeah, let's talk about, your heart. Like, what do you think of when you think of your heart? I mean, as a health and wellness podcast, we might think of your cardiovascular health. What are you exercising? Are you doing cardio? How's your cholesterol? There's ways people try to measure heart health, I guess, in the medical world that are more like numbers oriented, but also we can measure our heart health in so many other ways because it's an energy center in our body and it's like an emotional regulator. And it is really our first connection, who we are as people. You know, it's not our lower chakras, like our lower energy centers are like all about survival. Whereas like once you get into your heart center, it's right in the middle, right? It's in the middle of your body. And then you're really starting to talk about more emotional things, more parts of survival that are it's not necessarily rooted in survival. It's rooted in connection to each other, connection to yourself, and connection to spirit. And some of these things can physically show up in the heart: grief, resentment, stress. Like you can physically see people rounding, protecting their heart. Sometimes when people experience especially sudden or deep grief, they actually can have pain in their heart, and even to the point of having to be hospitalized or having a cardiac event because of actual emotional pain. So yeah, you can measure heart health in a lot of different ways, like we talked about.
Inflammation, pain, different patterns that you're doing, like you said, the holding yourself. I know I've gone through certain emotional issues in my life where I was literally laying in bed and my heart was racing. And it was just something that I had to speak out. And when I finally was able to let it come out and speak my emotional piece, then it dissipated. And it, if you hold that stuff in, it can literally physically manifest. Yeah, reframing the heart health as a whole person. It's not just the emotional or the physical, it's all together. It's just like in Western medicine where they treat the symptom. We don't want to just treat the symptom. We want to treat the whole person. We want to treat the whole aspect of it, right? We want to not ignore it.
Right.
So many people are apt to ignoring their emotions and how they feel and where it's actually coming from.
So you guys are talking about like the physiological aspect of your heart. Your heart isn't just an organ. It doesn't just pump blood. And then when people think about their heart, they think about, oh, that broke my heart, and that's the emotional side of it. Mm-hmm. But so when you think about like your gut feeling, it all ties together. It's your whole body, like Leandra said. It involves your stomach and your digestive system. This includes sensations like a sudden sinking feeling, fluttering or butterflies in the stomach, tightness or nausea even. You've got heart and breathing, a sudden change in speed or intensity of the heartbeat, like you said, racing heart, and sometimes change in breath and pace. So that's, I think, where that kind of stop and breathe thing comes into play. Definitely.
Right, because so often the first thing we do is
stop and think, what are the consequences? That kind of thing.
Makes me think of like if people have to breathe into a paper bag, it like forces them to take deep breaths. So I think that's the whole purpose of it.
I think so too.
Yeah, the hyperventilating. I remember my sister used to hyperventilate all the time, and my mom would be like, "Get a paper bag." But some other physiological things that you can feel, when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to gut feelings, muscular and skin tension, tightness in the throat, neck, shoulders, as well as experiencing goosebumps or a prickling sensation. You talked about, people coming in on themselves. For me, it's a panic attack. When I have a panic attack, it hurts my chest, like so much. I get this pain right here. Like I don't feel my heart racing, but I feel it hurt. So that's definitely a thing for me. Temperature changes, a feeling of warmth in the chest, or alternatively, icy cold hands and feet. I get that, definitely. And then there's neurological and cognitive signs, a sudden burst of mental clarity, like that aha moment, when you're like, oh, this is a bad idea. Or a strong,
or a good idea.
Yes. Or absolutely a good idea. I am that person, that emotional generator where I'm like, I'm that instant, yeah, let's do it. And then I have to stop and think and breathe and go, okay.
Right, that way.
Do I really need to do this? Is this really a thing I should be doing? But, you can get a strong and nagging feeling of unease as well. So that's the physiological side for me.
Yeah.
With,
I think a lot of people can relate to that. All those different signs and symptoms and, I feel like so many people just don't relate those feelings to emotions. And we really.
Right. Like we're so shut down emotionally because we're living in, again, that survival mode for so long. And we were taught to shut down our emotions as kids. I mean, that's the reality.
Right.
And you did it as a survival mechanism, because I don't know, do you want to get something to cry about? Right, yeah. I don't know. Have you seen those TikToks now where like the millennial moms are asking these same questions to the kids and they're like, really? I'm going to give you something
something to cry about.
Our response to those questions are, I'm going to give you something to cry about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas me with kids now, luckily, I mean, it's so great that those are not their first responses to those statements. But for so many of us, for so long, that we were not really taught to be in touch with our emotions. And so it's like something we have to relearn.
Well, for me, it's always been, in the environment I grew up in was, well, nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear your problems.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Like when you meet somebody, you don't just vomit negativity onto them. You just don't.
Right.
Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear that. Put on a happy face.
Right. And so we got really good at suppressing our emotions and not even acknowledging them. And then we don't even look at them like they're emotions. Like one of the trainings I did recently with the breath work, really there's so much about heart opening, with how so many people just don't have that. And why are there so many heart attacks? Why are there so many physiological problems with our heart?
Well, and then the other thing on that aspect too is I think that there are so many parents who, if they have kids who are being emotional, they just give them something to eat.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's like, oh, you're sad, here, have this. Oh, you're sad, have a cookie. Oh, you're sad, have some juice. And
or have an electronic.
Here's your
have
Ben and
electronic.
Jerry's.
Yes, that's
Yes.
at our age now.
Yeah,
But in the past, it was more like, here, comfort yourself with food.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this obesity epidemic has happened. And, you know, that all in turn physiologically gives you heart problems. Mm-hmm. And it still can be very tied into that emotional, being raised in that emotional aspect of,
and we don't even see the
just
connection.
Comfort yourself with this.
And also, like, you know, from a mental standpoint, like I have severe anxiety. Gee, I wonder why. Mm-hmm. You know, we're taught to suppress our emotions for so long that, you know, you're not allowed to express it. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, you know, in a relationship, you know, with a partner, we'll say, and, you know, you don't want to say anything. You don't want to say anything because you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you're worried about their reaction or whatever. And then all of a sudden you blow up. Mm-hmm. Because it just builds and builds. Mm-hmm. That's not healthy either.
Right.
It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for anything.
Yeah. And there are a couple of things that we can do to help this emotional and physical connection. So, like, there's some great yoga poses that you can do, cobra, heart opening poses. So anything that will open up the chest, right? Cobra, fish pose, bridge pose, camel pose. Wheel, if you can do wheel, is a great pose. So anything that opens up the heart, the chakra.
I mean, I teach a lot of gentle yoga, so I'll be even just rolling your like a shoulder roll. You don't have to like get down and do a back bend. You know, you can just anything where you're just opening, maybe gazing, lifting your chin and gazing up, holding those shoulders back. It doesn't have to be a pose, I guess is right.
And I learned, so I do physical therapy for my neck. And one of the things he taught me yesterday was, you know, not just rolling your shoulders back and squeezing, trying to lower your shoulders as much as you can, and then
sliding
squeezing
your
back,
shoulder blades down your spine.
Because those muscles back there in your mid-spine aren't used to working.
Right.
You're so used to doing this that these muscles are taking over, and it's like
that constriction isn't doing well for your emotional or physical health either.
Nope.
I know. We're so many things about our heart.
Yeah, and we want to be able to address the vagus nerve in our body. That is our like emotional center. Like, would you agree? Our vagus nerve is so important. It's the main nerve that's coming down. It's going to make you feel those physiological feelings of nausea or heart palpitations or anything like that. That sinking feeling in the gut. And so, what was it? The ocean breath from the yogic breath is a really great one. And that's kind of like a mild snoring in the back of the throat. You keep your mouth closed and you just go.
Just like a little light constriction in the back of your throat.
Exactly. That constriction allows you to kind of hear that ocean, so to speak, and it's very soothing. And if you do it for a while, there's other breath work that you can do. Heather does amazing breath work. And then there's also essential oils that are really great for the heart. Rose, frankincense, bergamot or bergamot, however you want to say it, neroli are really great. And those all you can just apply to the heart center and even on the back. You know, if you can't reach your back, have somebody apply it to the back, because in that way you can address the heart chakra both front and back. So
and make a connection with somebody.
There you go, the connection, exactly.
That's what I can.
Yes. And the self-trust, you know, we want to be able to have boundaries. So yeah, Mindy, you can talk definitely more about that.
Yeah. So why boundaries are really important. They're not walls, they're clarity. This actually was when I was going through this, was a really tough one for me, because I am working really hard on setting up boundaries, but I am a people pleaser. And so I'm always afraid that I'm going to hurt someone's feelings, or I'm going to make them mad, or, you know, they're not going to want to be my friend, or I'm like, I'm 49 years old. What am I doing? But I'm, you know, like I said, I'm actually struggling with this myself. But for me, it boils down to self-worth and self-love. Do I love myself enough, and do I feel worthy enough to let go of this anxiety that I'm allowing to happen in my body caused by the situation I'm trying to build boundaries for? So I need to build these boundaries because of this situation, you know, and it's like, but I'm letting the situation cause all this anxiety, and, you know, it's just this vicious cycle.
You're having all the sensation because you're not holding a boundary.
I'm
Well,
not
first,
gonna
and you don't
boundary.
even first, and honestly, at first, people don't even realize they should set a boundary or
Right?
that what a boundary is, and
Mhm.
they're letting other people violate their space,
Yeah.
their emotions, their energy, and so you have to like create that. What am I willing to tolerate?
Mhm.
I guess that's really your boundary,
Yeah.
right? And then you need to find a boundary that you're willing to hold.
Yes.
Because once you set it, I don't know, you have some neurodivergent kiddos. So that's what you learn. What's what you learn is like what you're willing to go to the mat for.
Mhm.
That's what I used to say with my one kid. Like, am I willing to go to the mat for this? Am I going to hold this boundary? It might destroy my whole day. Because where do you want to draw the line? Where do you want to hold that space?
Yeah.
Because sometimes once you hold that boundary, like if you're really going to hold it, that means you're going to enforce it.
You have
it's
to.
Not fun.
You have to deal with the consequences. You have to be willing to deal with the consequences, whatever they're going to be. That was when we talked about self-trust. Well, we didn't talk about it, but we were about to. It starts with self-love, and you can't expect someone to love and respect you if you don't love and respect yourself. And so, you have to start creating these boundaries. And when we say boundaries, what we mean is, kind of like what you're willing, like you said, what you're willing to go to the mat for. Think about it as a literal line where you're like, okay, you're my friend, for instance. And when you do X, Y, Z, it makes me feel ABC. I'm not okay with that.
Right.
So I need to set this line. So when you do X, Y, Z, I'm willing to say, stop. It's not okay. I can't deal with that right now. I can't, I'm not in a position to help you with that right now, however that looks for you. Mm-hmm. But you have to be willing and able, because there's going to be consequences, whether they're negative or positive. Maybe that person's going to react negatively. Maybe they're going to be like, oh, I didn't know, because you didn't say anything because you were afraid of how you were going to make me feel. But you have to be ready for those consequences.
Right. And I would say that if you're setting a boundary with somebody and they do react negatively and they decide, well, I'm just not going to be part of their life for this period of time or whatever, mm-hmm. that is a consequence that you're taking. Mm-hmm. But it's also on the other side of that, is that better for your emotional health?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And if it is, then that is a good consequence to have to take. And people come and go in our lives. I would say that if it's a significant other, then they should definitely have more patience. And if they don't, I'm sorry. I hope that, you come and see me.
You come and see me, because that's where, communication comes into play, and
exactly.
Good communication, things like that.
Communicating those boundaries is important too.
And that's, again, my struggle.
Yeah.
Absolutely my struggle.
Some of those physical manifestations, which we did talk about, is like tight chest, shallow breathing, tension in the body, have to do with people crossing that boundary. So if you're unfamiliar with how that feels, then just really be present in your body, in your mind, and understand like these are feelings of people crossing a boundary that you may not have even set yet.
Right.
And that is telling you, now I need to set this boundary because it's making me feel this certain way. I'm getting tight in the chest. I'm getting anxious. I'm getting really tired of this person or this situation.
But exactly. And I mean, like I said earlier, it feels like they're sucking the life out of you.
Energy vampires.
Draining. They're just, you feel so drained because it's exhausting. Because it's almost so I'm an empath, so I take on everybody's everything. Mm-hmm. And so like when someone's coming at you with all their negativity or all their want and their need and their this and their that, it's like you feel obligated to help and to do this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my gosh, when am I going to do me? Like, when am I going to help me?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have been even thinking about, again, boundaries around social media these days, just because there is so much negativity. It's like, wow, I got like negativity up to here in just like 2 minutes on Facebook. And maybe I need to not set my own boundary and just like disengage for a little bit and not be on there as much because, yeah, like that negativity, I am feeling it in my body and it's bringing me down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll have clients that come in and they're talking about this and that in the news, and they're like, did you see this? Even my husband sometimes, did you see this and this? And I'm like, no, I don't really look at the news because I
rely on my husband to tell me what I need to know.
Right? Exactly. That's kind of what I do. And so I don't really look at that. I'll see like the news things on my screen on the computer and every
line here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've learned how to delete notifications and things like that on Facebook because I don't want to give up Facebook necessarily. I like to see the fun things. So when I see something negative, I either scroll right past or I click. I have a friend who loves to put political stuff on my business page. And that's a boundary that's something I need to do. Like, I'm not going to give up my business page, obviously. So I need to tell that person, please stop.
Don't. That's not what this is for.
Exactly.
And that's where that like people pleasing and over giving comes in. And I have discovered that like in the first couple of years of my business, I've been doing massage therapy for 18 years. And, I had to discover that I can say no. And people will still come back to me.
No is a complete sentence. I've heard that twice this week.
Okay, I like that. No is a complete sentence. And, it doesn't have to be like, no, I'm not giving you that discount. It can just be like, hey, I'm just, I'm not offering that discount right now. If you'd like to still schedule with me, that's great. Those kinds of things. Because people they'll take. And they'll take. If you're going to give it, they're going to take it.
You gave it to me once.
It's like protecting that energy. So I was going to talk a little bit. You said let's chat about that.
Yeah.
Energy zip up. So especially, I think probably after you do yoga, after you do massage, after you do breath work, and I've started adding this in when I do the breath work classes, is just a quick energy zip up where you take a moment and you ground and you notice, you feel the earth supporting you, kind of call in any energy that you want to bring in, positive energy to make you feel strong. And then we put our hands kind of right in front of our pubic bone there and inhale. Let's all do it. Let's just start. Draw our energy up over our head and then make a nice big circle around like you're creating a bubble. That's one. Let's do it again. Inhaling up. One arm forward, one arm back. Creating that bubble. Imagine you're creating a boundary around you. It's like your energetic boundary. Inhale up. Arm forward and back. Yeah. And then just notice you just created an energy bubble. Wendy's like, oh my gosh, an energy bubble.
It feels so nice.
So you can hold your energy and let other people keep theirs.
My dance space. This is your dance space.
When we do, especially energetic work, or we're really a little more energy vulnerable, especially as an empath or something like that, it's just such a great practice to physically maybe create that bubble so that you can almost sense like your boundaries a little more energetically.
You can make it whatever color you want.
Yep. And you can let good things in through your bubble and let the bad things kind of bounce
right off.
Yes,
I love that.
I love that so much.
And there are some oils for courage and clarity, self-advocacy. So we have an amazing balance blend. It has a really beautiful aroma. It's very grounding. Also, lavender is always a good one. And copaiba. A lot of people haven't heard of copaiba. It is a tree oil, and it's very soothing, calming. It helps with the nervous system. So it's really calming and grounding. And it also helps with tension, stress, and pain. So if you're dealing with those things as a symptom, then it can help with a lot of different things. So love the oils. Also, journaling can be helpful. Anything that helps you get those emotions out, say, kickboxing or, whatever you're doing.
Even with like that energy zip up, what I love to do is take the oils in my hand first.
Deep breaths.
And inhale them and then use them for creating your bubble.
I love that.
That's great. A good idea. It's like supercharge.
Yes, definitely. And today we have holiday love diffusing in the room, which is very appropriate for our theme.
Okay, so when you're not setting your boundary, especially, that can lead to a lot of resentment because you're not creating that space for yourself, and you feel like other people are encroaching onto your bubble and into your energy and into your space. And so you can feel triggered or resentful. And so, again, so much of this is just about noticing, and so many of us just aren't.
Ignore it.
Ignore it, right?
You don't
Until
you might ignore it, or you might just not realize what it is.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like so many people, I'm saying you feel it, but you might not feel it.
Exactly.
Because you're like not taught to feel it. So paying attention, noticing like if you're feeling one of those sensations in your body, that tightness, that you're rounding. Like when you notice your body going into that sensation, take a pause and be like,
what's causing this?
What is causing this? It might be a feeling.
Yeah, because a lot of those feelings, I feel like those feelings when people don't take that moment, and for me especially, I mean, not probably with a lot of people, but for me, if I don't take that moment to feel what's going on, I just go straight to anger.
Yeah.
And it's just like quick, because that anger, what I've learned is that anger isn't really a feeling, it's a culmination of all the feelings.
It's a result.
It's a result. Okay, yeah. So it's like, well, why are you angry because you're sad about this? Are you angry? And you had touched on this before too, like fear is such a common practice, especially when we're raising kids or in a relationship with anybody, is that fear that just makes us go, I'm so mad right now. I'm just going to blow up and not have this emotional regulation.
Because they don't, it's like you got to almost like take it 3 steps back, right? Like you're at fear or anger, but why?
Exactly.
But why are you in that fear or anger? You know, and then it's like, well, because when I was a kid, when this happened, this other consequence would happen. And you're like, you have that fear, like if my kid behaves this way, consequences are going to happen. Whereas if you just take that step back and you feel that emotion, and here's the thing about emotions, if you allow yourself to feel them, you know, and so often we're like, oh, that's an emotion, put it down there. It's like, no, I feel sad, or just overwhelmed. Let that emotion come up through your body, and, you know, maybe it causes you to shake, or maybe you cry or laugh, or something releases in your body. If you let that happen, it can just take about 30 to 90 seconds to just let that emotion come through. And you're like, oh, I was scared, or I was sad. And now I just allowed my body to feel that, and it released. And then you can just take that deep breath instead of blowing up. Because I know that blowing up thing, it just kind of comes out of
makes
nowhere.
Everybody feel like
and
crap.
It's not helping anybody.
It's not
like, mom's in her mood today.
That actually brings up something that I learned recently, is that children, I guess it's not something I really learned. It's like, it's a realization. Kids growing up, oh wait, that was from Rachel's class when she was talking about how kids they're being raised to make the parents feel like, okay, we're doing this for the parents. We're doing this to make them make sure that they're not going to get mad at it, that they're okay.
Their parents.
Yeah, instead of us being like, hey, what is it that you need? What is it that, you know, we can do together?
Right. The kids stop. They don't ask. That's how they start shutting them down.
Yeah.
You know, because mom's going to react.
Yep.
And they don't want that reaction. So they just stop.
Exactly.
Asking.
And it goes the flip side too. Like for someone who is a people pleaser like me, you know, like your kid behaves a certain way and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, I don't want that fight. I don't want that fight right now. You know?
Right.
I do that a lot.
This is how I often find myself standing in the pantry eating corn chips. This was like this first thing when I was doing Optavia way back when. I would find myself, and I was standing in the pantry reaching for the corn chips. And it was usually a boundary violation. One of my children specifically constantly making me not speak or hold my boundary. And then I just let it go and I walk into the pantry and I want to eat.
Yeah.
Which just goes back to what
what I was saying about comforting yourself with food.
Right.
Which leads us like right into our ritual.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I also want to address the whole breath work too, is as a pathway to emotional release. When I really started my yoga journey, I've been doing yoga for a lot of years, but when I really started my journey and I started doing the teacher training program and really learning about all the breath work and all the different types and how it can help, it really helped me with so many different aspects of my emotions, because I was quick to anger. I was really triggered easily. It helped me create so much more patience, especially with my kids and my husband and myself. And, it's helped me get through, with the self. It's because we want to point the finger at somebody else. We want to, okay, it's you that did this to me. But
and
really,
what is happening?
Yeah, three fingers are pointing back at you. Exactly.
Yeah.
But that breath work has really opened up a different emotional aspect for me, and it's helped me with sobriety. It's helped me be able to connect with other people.
You said with your PTSD.
PTSD, that was like the first thing that I just noticed was so much better. Don't take it for granted, because breath is life, and we need to use it as such and be grateful for it in that manner as well. But then the somatic, you did talk about the somatic stuff, the shaking and the making sure that you're feeling the emotions. There are some did you want to touch on that anymore, or were you good?
No, just noticing. Like, I think the important thing is just noticing what you're feeling in your body and paying more attention to it. And then, there are these somatic practices where you can just like carve out time to allow your body to release emotions that have been stored. We've got plenty that have been stored in there forever. I don't think you can ever really fully get it all out, but you can carve out time for intentionally tremoring or shaking, intentionally doing some breathing.
Like anger rituals. I've known some practitioners that do like anger rituals.
Where you're like
screaming into pillows, screaming in the car.
I've done screaming in the car before. Yes. And even sighing. I see it says here like just one good let it go. It's so funny. Should I even say this? My mother used to always complain that I was always sighing around her.
Wonder why.
Let's unpack that a minute. No. But it was like letting that emotional go. And it is, I guess I was assuming it was a slightly more appropriate way, but apparently it was still annoying to her.
So bursting into tears. And I'd like to touch real quick on something that you said where, you talked about, when you feel built up inside or whatever because you're blaming someone else. For me, it's the opposite. I'm my own worst enemy. I always say I can't get out of my own way. I beat myself up and I get mad at myself and I do all those things, and it's like, you gotta figure out how to release that too, because, you can blame people all day long, but at the end of the day, like we're our own worst critics. We're our own worst enemies. We will cut people so much slack, but we won't do it for ourselves. And it's like, why not? What are we doing?
Would we say the things that we say to ourselves to somebody that we love? And so if we really love ourselves, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, you are good. You are loved. You are beautiful.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, you're the worst person.
You're not useless.
Why did you do that? Exactly.
I feel like I'm pretty good at self-love.
I've gotten so much better. I used to be really bad.
I'm better, but and we, it manifests like what we call it is low self-esteem.
Yes.
And in our kids and and it's, in ourselves and,
exactly.
Yeah, I have grown a lot, but I have a long way to go.
Yeah. So, and then, daily rituals.
So there are things that you can do and you touched on so much of it, the breath work, the yoga poses or yoga classes or whatever. But for me, like I need that, 15 minutes in the morning of just the me time. I have my coffee, I have my protein shake, I have my phone, and I play stupid games. Like I don't scroll media, I don't look at my email or do anything yet. I play, solitaire and things like that. But a really fun fact, and this is actually doctor recommended, but a woman should orgasm at least once a day. Start your day out with one in the shower, whatever. However, involve your partner, don't involve your partner, completely up to you. But what it does is, well, first of all, orgasm is really good for your cardiovascular system because it opens up your arteries and your veins so that your blood flows better. I know it helps get the oxygen flowing through, your blood better. So it's better for your heart. It's good for heart health, but it releases all the happy hormones. So the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, there's a couple more and I can never remember.
I think those are the three main ones.
Those are the three main ones.
We're all familiar with those.
But yeah, it releases those happy hormones. So you start your day off in a happier state of mind. So yeah, I'm all about it.
That's a good practice.
It's a good practice. I've heard that one before too.
Yeah, and then there's like a difference between vulnerability and emotional dumping.
So two things when I want to scroll back to forgiveness. I just want to talk a little bit on that other part about heart health and forgiveness. Have we really thought about that? And again, I think forgiveness is one of those things where we didn't really get taught what forgiveness really is. Someone
go say sorry.
Go say sorry.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Go say sorry and tell them you forgive them.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really confused about what forgiveness is really all about. And again, I think forgiveness is so important for your heart, for your mental health and how you feel. And remembering that when you are holding that grudge and that resentment, I mean, even when I'm just saying it, I can start to feel heavy in my gut and my heart. When you're resenting someone or holding a grudge, you are not opening your heart. It's like you're closing your heart. Sometimes we think, well, I can forgive them if, or I'll forgive them when.
To be conditional.
And you want to involve the other person in your practice of forgiveness. And I think that it's so important to realize that forgiveness is for you. And that other person doesn't have to be sorry. Even acknowledge that what they did was wrong, because you're just like,
for you, or wrong
I just need them to see. I just need them to see how they wronged me. No. You know what? If you are giving your power away to someone else in order to forgive them, or you're holding that until they get it, you're only really hurting yourself. And again, I do think that these grudges and this anger and holding that in your heart is unhealthy.
Absolutely. It can totally manifest physically. I feel like when you have that grudge, when you have that, I always think of it as if you can't forgive and you're not forgetting. Because a lot of people think, just because you forgive it, it's gone. And you may have to forgive that person or yourself every day for a year before it really lets go. And that's okay, as long as you're on that path. But if you're not and you're still holding it in, it's like this black cancer that can just grow and spread throughout your body. Just think of it as like this octopus type of gooey mesh that's just inside.
Like a squid or something.
And it's just growing these tentacles. The more that you're, stewing and, thinking of how you're going to have revenge and stuff like that. And
not good. Not good.
The more you can
so again, that does roll into that daily ritual and practice.
Absolutely.
Like how you're forgiving, who you're forgiving, can you be forgiving, and not giving that power to others. And you had mentioned there's actually an oil for that.
Yeah, we do have an oil called Forgive.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
I've had a couple great testimonies with it too. Like my sister, she was rubbing it on her feet for a period of time, and she felt like over a period of time, like just a release of emotion. There was a few days, I think she even mentioned that she just kind of cried it out and she allowed the emotion to just release and feel better. And it helped her in so many ways. There was another testimony where a woman kind of goes back to eating for comfort. She was using the Forgive oil and rubbing it on her belly and her feet every day. And she ended up losing like 50 pounds. So some people are kind of like, oh, it doesn't smell good. I think it smells good. Mm-hmm. I really like it. It is a really grounding, peaceful oil. So if you need that forgiving state of mind, check out the Forgive oil by doTERRA. Mm-hmm. And if you need it, call me. So yeah, there's some great oils for that. And then I also have a video on my YouTube channel for the heart chakra. So if you want a nice 1-hour yoga class, then check out my YouTube video. It's Leandra's Integrative Wellness, the heart chakra video. And we did kind of go already into how skeptics might seem. They might not understand, where the emotions are coming from and how they are manifesting physically. We really went into some pretty good detail on that, I think.
So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of bridge off of what Heather was saying about, what unconditional love and forgiveness and how we don't really understand it. When you think of unconditional love, you say, oh, I love my kids unconditionally. I love my husband unconditionally. Well, do you really? There's some thoughts on what unconditional love actually means. No conditions. First of all, it's given freely without requiring repayment, specific actions, or adherence to certain standards. So you can have your boundaries, and that's great. But you can't expect people to act the way you want them to. They're their own person and they have their own boundaries and things like that. Acceptance, loving someone for who they are, flaws and all. Mm-hmm. And this absolutely is for self-love too. You can love yourself unconditionally. It is possible. But flaws and all, rather than who you want them to be. Forgiveness, overlooking minor mistakes and not keeping score in disagreements. So we're not talking about, tolerating abuse or having no boundaries. That's different. But yeah, forgiveness it's really hard. Mm-hmm. It's a practice. You have to practice it. Focus on others' happiness, finding joy in the other person's success and well-being without jealousy. And that's a hard one too. Mm-hmm. Oh, can I be like them? She's the perfect mother. She's the perfect wife. She's the no. Comparing yourself to others is never a good thing. Patience and understanding, a deep sense of patience, empathy, and commitment to working through issues together. And research suggests that giving unconditional love activates brain reward systems. So it benefits the giver as well as the receiver.
I feel like if I take that moment to just breathe and take a second and say I want that time for myself and I'm just, okay, it's a long day. I'm sitting on the couch, putzing on the computer, watching TV, whatever. And then my son comes in and he likes to get right in my face. And if I just pause for a second and just allow it and hug him and do that unconditional love, that unconditional practice, we both feel good. Mm-hmm. But if I'm like, out of my space, you're in my face, then it's like, oh, we both feel kind of crappy. And so I like that you brought that up. Mm-hmm. I like that. Keep that practice going.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And emotional health isn't woo-woo. It's really not. If you have somebody in your life you can talk to that's willing and open to the practice of talking. If you have a coach, these lovely ladies right here are perfect for that. Mm-hmm. And, if you can just take that time for yourself, love yourself, put your affirmations up. And affirmations aren't necessarily about what you believe at the moment. It's what you can start to believe about yourself. Mm-hmm. So just take the time. So I have another question for you, Mindy. What's one practice that you recommend for people who want to deepen love in all areas of their life, not just romantic relationships?
Well, and this is, again, for self too, but it really does translate into your relationships with others, whether it's a partner or a friend, however, but think about how you show up in all your relationships and how you want others to show up. Because how you show up directly reflects how they're going to show up to you. So, what do you want to see in others? And I believe in quality over quantity. So relationships, some of them take a lot of hard work to foster those deep connections where others are a piece of cake. Like, oh my gosh, I clicked with this person instantly. We get along swimmingly. It's great. Everything's wonderful. And then that's kind of where that gut feeling can come into play and make those decisions easier. But you got to listen to it. Like you said, you have to recognize it. You know, like for me, I have what I call a nervous stomach. You know, it's like, oh, tummy issues. Well, maybe I don't have tummy issues. Maybe it's, you know, my gut feeling
that you're not paying attention
that I'm not paying attention to. Like, so, and that's where that stop and think, okay, why do I have a stomach ache right now? Like, is it literally because, you know, I ate something that didn't agree with me, or is it because my body's trying to tell me something?
Some boundaries being
Exactly.
infringed upon.
Yeah. What is it trying to tell me?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. I love that.
I was also just going to say, like, people just deepen, like, friendships, like how important it is to nurture and reach out to people that you want to connect with. And I think so often, and I know I'm guilty of, like, I don't want to bother them or, you know, which is why texting is great, right? Because you can just send a text and they don't have to respond
right away.
You know, and sometimes you don't get a text back, or sometimes like they'll like call you because they're like, oh gosh, I really want to share something, you know. And
but when they don't text back, don't take it too personal.
Right.
Like, it's not something against you,
right?
And that can be hard because you're like reading into it.
Unless it's that one person that you're like, you never answer my texts. I'm so busy. I'm like, do you go to the bathroom? Like, answer your texts.
Like my kids, like unfortunately, I'm probably like the non-texter hacker.
We all have those friends too in our lives that we're like, hardly ever talk to her, but when we do, it's like we never were apart. You know what? But those people need to hear from us more often too.
Yeah, that's really how I am with my sister. We all even tell each other, like, I didn't call you because I know we're going to talk for an hour and I don't have time. But it's like, really, if we talk to each other more often, it would be an hour.
It wouldn't be an hour conversation. It would be more, again, quality over quantity.
Yeah, exactly. And I always tell that to my kids too, because growing up, they're like, well, I don't have many friends. And it's not about how many you have. It's about the quality of
and it's about the relationships you foster and you work on. It's work. It's not, you know, even those ones that seem like a piece of cake, you still got to work at it. You still have to make the effort, and both of you do. You know, like one person is doing all the work, and that's another thing. And that's, we get back into boundaries. One person feels like they're doing all the work. It's like, oh gosh, you know, like.
Then what do you say to that person?
Yeah,
do you even tell them?
Well, that's when I said, you don't answer my texts, you know, oh, I'm so busy. I'm like, well, do you use the restroom?
Maybe do you even want to answer?
You know, like the priorities.
Exactly.
Too.
Am I a priority?
Am I a priority or am I not? And maybe if you're not, like, maybe you just
let's start. So maybe
step back a little bit.
Maybe we're not as close friends as we thought.
You know, and I've lost friendships kind of because I realized I was the only one reaching out, doing all the work, and I'm like, how long was I hanging on to that?
Yeah, I've kind of felt like that's a similar case.
Like, how much time did I spend and energy did I spend on this? Where the other person just wasn't reciprocating, and it's like I could have been spending that time and energy on myself
nurturing
or
some other
nurturing a different relationship. Yeah. It's hard to find that balance, and
I know, and especially like as an adult, and then as we grow and change too, like different friends might become more of a priority, or you know, like you're holding on to some relationship that's really no longer
that
serving
can be
you.
Toxic. Yeah, you got to have those relationships that'll nurture you, lift you up.
And you know, just the whole concept of like that whole, we're just ending that year of the snake, like that making space. Like sometimes you just need to make space so that those new friendships.
Drifting apart.
You know, you drift apart. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean you're not friends with that person anymore. It just means you don't have the same friendship that you had before.
But like, you're not putting that energy into that so that you can hold space for like the new people to come in.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I feel like that's a great way to.
Yeah, and you know, love is a practice. It's not a holiday. You know, like Mindy has said many times, Valentine's Day is not just one day. It can be every day.
Exactly. What about the rest of the year?
All year long.
Why do you have to just show extra love one day just because it's the reason to do it. No, you should be doing that all
Not
the
that
time.
you don't have to, but if you like Valentine's Day, do it, but also encourage that love every day, whether it's for yourself or somebody else. And we invite you to make a comment. We would love to know some kind of self-care practice that you're doing to nurture your relationships, to create self-love for yourself. And just, what's a weekly win? What's a boundary that you've set and that you can honor and that you feel good about? And that first time that you say no within this boundary, it's going to be hard. But once you say it once, it's going to be easier every time after that. Trust me, I've been there.
And I got to take that advice.
Yeah, and you can do it. We believe in you. We love you. Next month, we're going to be talking about energy, detoxing, and renewal, spring cleaning from the inside out. So join us for next month and let us know how you're doing. And if you have a Galentine's Day this Valentine's Day, if you're going to be enjoying it on your own or with somebody else, let us know how you're doing. We love you all. Namaste.
Namaste.